The 4 words. So the Warner Brothers tour, as you know, caused some issues with leaks. What precautions did you take on the day of the final 4 words to ensure that they didn't leak?
Well, we never put them down on paper. That was the first thing. So if somebody has a script with the last 4 words in them, they're not the last 4 words. We shifted it around a lot. Did a couple of rewrites on the last scene. It was a little silly, actually. It was a little cloak and dagger for.
Sadly, for the people who showed up on the days we were shooting on the backlot, the Warner Brothers tour did not include the backlot.
Yeah.
That was not by our call. That was Warner Brothers' call. So that they're not, because a tram of tourists cannot come through Stars Hollow.
But we were limiting access at that point also because the square was in a certain season, done a certain way, and we were trying to get them to not tram through. It was very hard. Look, it's a hard. Most of our leaks, frankly, came from people who worked on the lot. They weren't all from people on the tour. A couple were for people on the tour, but.
But the moment, though, the 4 words when you're shooting that scene, did it feel special, or was it just like, let's just get this thing out of the way?
Well, what's interesting is it felt very special to, shooting is it's a very big impersonal thing. And it was very personal to Lauren, Alexis, and Dan and myself. Like, the 4 of us, it was very personal, and we talked about, like, how we're going to stage it and how it's going to go. But you've got ADs that are worried about the extras, and there's no tuna salad and the thing. You're trying to get people to not go to craft service and talk while you're shooting. So like there's a whole world of people that are literally not interested or paying attention whatsoever, while the 4 of us are huddled around sobbing and but it was big to me, to the people that it was important that it was big to, and the rest of the people just wanted to get their tuna salad.
Do you feel a sense of closure with this franchise, with this project?
I think so. I mean, in a way, but it wasn't a closure we were seeking.
Yeah.
It was.
There is no closure in life, is there? Does that work? Do you ever find closure in life? I haven't. Ugh, I need to get to therapy.
I think like the closure was like, we had been thinking about these stories and this 1-year journey for a long time. So like, to have been able to have done it was like, it was great. And it's a brand new chapter of Gilmore Girls. Like it's its own new thing. It's a whole new journey for these women, and we really picked up, and we really focused on, it is 9 years later in these women's lives, and things have changed, and you'll see that things are different as soon as the first scene starts. So, and as far as the last 4 words, it's like, not a spoiler, it came towards the very, very end. It's towards the very, very end of the journey. So it was emotional because it was a time when like, this story is coming to an end. So, for now at least.
And frankly, there was a shot that the last 4 words couldn't happen, depending on what they did in season 7. It was kind of a fluke because we decided to do this not in any sort of, we want to wrap up the last year, or we didn't get to do, we decided to do this when Netflix, marched over the world and opened Gilmore up to a new audience, and suddenly it felt like it might be a time, it might be now, like that we get back together when we put on a show. So and in that journey, then we had to find out what the hell happened in season 7 to make sure it even worked. And luckily it did, But if it hadn't, we still would have done these 4, because there were new stories to tell.